And I rise today to contribute to the Agricultural Legislation Amendment Bill 2020. And what a pleasure today to be in this House to contribute to this legislation. It's a great day to be the member for Melton. I've had to drag myself away from rereading the budget and pinching myself to check that I wasn't dreaming. No, that'll be later. That'll be later. I'm proud to be one of the 18 regional members as part of the Andrews Labor government, and it's a pleasure when we have our regional caucus meetings to talk about regional issues, which would include agriculture and farming, of course. And being the member for Melton, this includes the gateway to our regions such as Moorabool. And I'm excited to see a number of reforms included in this legislation, and the regional communities in Victoria know that this Andrews Labor government and its members support and invest in the regions. And of course, Bacchus Marsh is a major food producing area, producing fruit and vegetables for Victoria and across Australia. And we have invested into the Parwin Employment Precinct, which will deliver up to 1,500 jobs through agribusiness and companies moving into that area in the Moorabool Shire, creating those agribusinesses. And my colleague, the member for Buninyong, referred to the mushroom farm out at Parwin and a fantastic agricultural business that is, and they provide mushrooms for not only across Victoria but right across Australia. Of course, one of the other areas of agriculture in the Bacchus Marsh area is we have the Strawberries and Cherries Festival each year, but unfortunately over the last couple of years due to COVID, that festival hasn't been able to be conducted, but we're very happy that that festival will be back on later this year. All Victorians benefit from a strong and growing agriculture sector and the jobs that it supports, and that's why the Andrews Labor government is backing agriculture with an ambitious vision for its future. We're investing in the strengths of our farmers, our food, and in turn our regional communities, and in fact we've invested well over 4 times more than the previous coalition government, which neglected and cut funding to agriculture and regional Victoria. Victoria punches well above its weight on a national level when it comes to agriculture, and despite the challenges of the pandemic and the global shocks to the supply chain, Victoria remains the nation's largest agriculture exporter and accounting for a massive 27% of national food and fibre exports, and that's $14 billion in exports. And by comparison, the next largest exporter is New South Wales at 19%, which is $9.6 billion, and then there's Queensland at 17% at $8.6 billion. Overall, the total value of agricultural production in Victoria is $17.8 billion, and we are the largest ag producer in the country. We have over 21,000 farm businesses across the state supporting 75,000 jobs in the agriculture sector, and predominantly located obviously in rural and regional Victoria. And we know how difficult it has been trying to fill some of those jobs in recent times due to the pandemic. So, as the leading agricultural producer, Victoria is producing things such as milk, where we account for 64% of the national production, sheep meat, 46% of the national production, vegetables, 25% of the national production, fruit and nuts, 35%, and of course table and dried grapes, where we account for a massive 70%. And then of course the production of wine, which is a thing that comes to my favourite pleasures outside of Parliament, let me tell you. So we're the number one exporter state in dairy, sheep meat, wool, horticultural products and poultry, and in short, Victoria is the agricultural powerhouse of this nation. That's why the Andrews Labor government is backing farmers and primary industries with our transformative 10-year agriculture strategy, which will strengthen, grow and protect the sector so it continues to be a cornerstone of our economy. This legislation provides an opportunity to make a number of reforms and amendments across the agricultural portfolio, and it proposes amendments to 11 acts and seeks to improve the administration and enforcement of these acts which relate to Victoria's biosecurity and food safety, veterinary practice, agricultural chemical use, the hemp industry, catchment and land protection, rural assistance and farm debt mediation schemes. One of the things that I'm pleased to see in this legislation is measures to support the hemp industry. and the potential for a new industry in Victoria has a huge possibilities and is something that could have a positive impact for our rural and regional communities. And as the world changes and we need to transition from previous ways of operating, industries like hemp can help create new jobs and opportunities in agriculture and manufacturing. And of course the potential is massive. I'd like to see if there is the ability to develop a hemp pulp industry and explore the possibilities of making niche paper industries for hemp. This could potentially capitalise on skills and expertise already available in Victoria, but of course exploring any new idea is difficult if there isn't the right supporters in place. That's why I'm proud that this legislation includes support for the hemp industry in Victoria. Because the Victorian Government is committed to working with industry, communities and trading partners to ensure that the agriculture sector is strong, innovative and sustainable. And the Victorian Agriculture Strategy, our 10-year strategy for agriculture in Victoria, provides a roadmap for action and investment to help the sector respond flexibly to emerging challenges, and it captures new opportunities. It certainly acknowledges the potential contribution of new and emerging industries alongside more traditional commodities to regional economies. It includes supporting those emerging industries such as I said before, hemp, an industry which has been developing since commercial production. I think it dates back to 1998. It can be grown in Australia for food or industrial purposes. The plant's broad adaptability makes it suitable for cultivation in several growing regions of Australia. It is a high-yielding, hardy and fast-growing annual crop which can be sown from early spring to late summer or early autumn. And commercial or trial hemp crops are grown in all states of Australia, but most commercial production currently occurs in Tasmania, the first state to permit hemp cultivation. So in Victoria, hemp can legally be grown to produce seed for food or seed or fibre for industrial purposes, including its use in construction and textiles. There are currently 62 industrial hemp licence holders in Victoria, including 6 authorised for research purposes, and this bill will support further development of this emerging industry with amendments to the Drugs, Poisons and Controlled Substances Act 1981. Look, I suppose it's also known that I'm a bit of an animal lover and I have many animals at my place, and I'm passionate about the health and welfare of animals. Yeah, I know, yeah. And my wife and I rescue horses. We have one rescue horse at home at the moment with another horse that's a pet of mine that I bred. And as I say, I get more love from my horses than what I do on Facebook sometimes, but that's okay, I can live with that. One of my horses is a bit of a feisty beast, but she's quite gentle. She's a gentle giant around my wife, and at times she tries to take it out on me, I think. So, but it's important to know that the government that I'm a member of has systems in place to respond to animal health and welfare, especially in emergencies. And I want to thank our vets and our animal welfare workers and our volunteers who look after and support our animals in need. I specifically want to thank my vet, Wei, who comes out from the Ballarat Veterinary Clinic, Equine Clinic, and he was out at our property today tending to one of my horses because my horse has had facial palsy, which is a bit unusual for a horse. And she's recovering, and he had to come out and check today, check one of her eyes because she's been unable to blink, and they're a bit worried about her eye being affected. But he was out there today tending to that horse, and I'll wait his bill, obviously, in the mail. So, but they're fantastic, the vets that attend to our animals, and the work that they do is just absolutely amazing. This bill will make amendments to allow for an animal health emergency to be declared, mirroring current provisions for public health emergency orders. So in the future emergencies, this provision will allow for specific requirements in the Act to be suspended or altered temporarily to ensure an efficient response to an animal welfare needs and to reduce animals' suffering. And that's the most important thing, and that is making sure that our animals are being well looked after. I commend this bill to the House, and I want to thank the Minister for all the work that she's done to support this bill. Thank you.